Yo, God, dude, I don't know what was going on with that, but alright. We're live again. Alright, let's hopefully this works this time. Now let's go here. Alright, alright, so, damn it. I don't want that doing that. Okay, does this sound good? Okay, does this sound good? Okay. Alright, now hopefully the people that were originally in the stream come back. Again, the stream is starting off really very not good at all. Okay, anyways, besides that, hopefully we get some more people back in here. And we can start talking about the movie. Okay. Alright. So I'm just pulling things up on the computer really quick here. Just to have as reference for certain things. Like I just popped up like the Wikipedia page and then like the Rotten Tomatoes. All that fun stuff. Okay. Okay, we got one person in, or we had said 3, but now we have 2. Okay. God damn, dude, I wish the lighting was better. Would it look better if I like move right here? Not really, not much better, I don't think. Alright. I don't know who's in here. Whoever's watching this, say something in chat so I know who's in here. Okay. I feel like right now this is like hopefully get some people back in here. I don't know why we just had. I feel like there's some. I don't know. I feel like this. I'm trouble with this stream right now. So apparently the audience score went down a little bit. Last I knew it was at 56, now it moved down to 53%. I feel like at this point it's just kind of a troll now. A lot of people are just kind of trolling about it. Alright, come on. Let me look up something really quick here. Alright, I'll starting. I'm just trying to pull up some stuff. It kind of sucks. I wanted to wait till we got some more people in here than the people we had left, which I don't blame them. Whoa, okay, Sedition. So Sedition, are you in here? Okay, so the Sedition's in here. I don't know. We had another viewer. I don't know what happened. I had trouble getting this live stream back up for some reason. I'm gonna wait like 2 more minutes and then I'm just gonna get into it because we've been streaming, or I've been streaming for about 7 minutes now. So once it hits about like the 9-minute mark, then I'll just start just rambling on about it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, Sedition, I recommend not being here because I'm going to talk about a lot of things. And I kind of wanted to do like a review on the movie, of course, but I kind of want it to be more of like a discussion video. Just because it's like there's so much I want to talk about. I just feel like if I made a review of it, I just couldn't fit everything into it. Because if I'm like sitting down writing it, I'm going to think of some stuff later on and everything, and even this still might not still have all my thoughts, in this live stream video. So there's that, but I'm gonna try it anyway. And also, Sedition, if you're gonna stay through this whole thing, if you have like questions about something or whatever, you can ask me stuff in the chat too, of course. So yeah, I'll see how this live stream goes, because if I like it enough, then I'll just keep it up here, kind of for like my last Jedi video. But if not, then I might just have to try to make a review, which I think I can do if I really put a lot of time into. But since Christmas is coming up, like this weekend, I'm going to be extremely busy because Saturday I have family coming over and all sorts of different stuff. So I don't know. And then maybe I could like trim down the stream too after it gets, after I get done live streaming. I can like hopefully cut like this little bit of me not really doing much. So before I go, Sedition, you cool with me talking about the movie in depth? Like, you cool with being spoiled? I mean, I'm pretty sure if you don't want to be spoiled, you'd be out of the stream by now, but I just want to make sure before I stop talking. Do it, son. Okay. Do it. Alright. So, right now. Alright. We'll start talking about The Last Jedi. Let's do it. So, right now, Star Wars The Last Jedi has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes by the critics. And the audience score is at 53. Last time I checked, the audience score was at like 56, but I think at this point, it's kind of became a meme to hate on this movie a little bit. So I think, like, there's a whole article about it. You can probably find it somewhere. There's a whole article about trolls on Rotten Tomatoes just really trolling the movie. Like, they, like, found a couple people that literally made, like, 20 accounts just bashing on the movie. But for the most part, though, everyone that I talk to, everyone that I know, they seem to enjoy The Last Jedi. So what do I think of it? I like The Last Jedi. I can probably get some hate for this. But I like it. I didn't like it on first viewing, though. And this is what I really want to talk about. So on my first viewing, I didn't really care for it. Reasonings, I'm going to go more in depth with them in a little bit. But just to kind of like talk about some of the things I didn't like first viewing was the comedy. I felt like they added a little. I mean, this is a lot more funnier Star Wars movie compared to like Force Awakens, which Force Awakens had its moments of comedy, but also, this one I felt like did it a little too much to the point where at certain scenes it was kind of distracting. For instance, there's a scene where, or actually, I don't know if I want to talk about this yet because I have like a whole subject that I want to talk about this. Or I'll just actually say the beginning of the movie. So in the beginning of the movie, it starts off with Poe in an X-Wing, and he's confronting General Hux, and the whole thing basically is like he's talking to him over the intercom, and it's kind of like a prank call type of thing. Like, he's basically waiting for a thing to charge up, and so he's just making fun of Hux, like, saying, like, just, I mean, it wasn't a bad part. Like, that was probably one of the parts that I liked the most out of, like, the comedy aspects of the film. But, I felt like they added a lot of comedy in scenes that didn't really need it, personally. Like, there's a scene with Kylo and Rey, and they're going back and forth, and then all of a sudden Rey just says something, like, just says a joke out of nowhere, and it's just kind of like, it was a really serious scene, and then why does she have to say something funny there? Because, like, it's an intense scene, and, like, on what's going on with them, I like to call it Force Skype. That was, like, one of my friends called it. I'll get into that in a little bit. So yes, the comedy was one thing that really turned me off of this movie first viewing, and some of it works, some of it doesn't. Actually, a lot of it doesn't, but there are some that work, so, and I'll get into pretty soon too. So yes, first thing I didn't really care first viewing, and still don't really care, was the comedy. Second thing, let's talk about that Leia scene. So, as we all saw in the trailer, there's a scene where it looks like Kylo Ren's going to destroy the ship that Leia is on. So the way that scene plays out is Kylo's in his, I think they call it like this TIE silencer or something like that. He's going down, he's going to, shoot her, but he doesn't. Doesn't shoot her, and then all of a sudden two TIE fighters come down, and then they shoot it, and that's it. And then there's like a little scene of her body just floating in space. So at first I was like, okay, so that's how they're just going to end off Leia. They're just going to end her off that way, whatever. But that's not the case. Her hand starts moving, and she literally does like a Superman float back to the ship. All right. In the first viewing, I was like, what the hell are they doing? This looks retarded. And on past viewings, of the movie, I still hate this scene. It, number one, looks stupid. I could see what they were trying to do with this scene. They were wanting to show that, you know, Leia has Force powers, which isn't a surprise. We know this from Return of the Jedi. But it's just the way that it's done is just really just, it's awkward, it's cringy. It's just a very out of place scene. And that is one thing that I wish that they didn't have, honestly. And then, since we're on the topic of Leia, I mean, Leia is the only character that doesn't die, surprisingly. Because, you know, I don't know what they're going to do with 9. I mean, at this point, maybe they do have enough footage where they can do stuff with her in 9. I don't know, man, but Leia's not dead. She's still alive. The last we see her is she's alive. She was boarding on the Falcon. Actually, we see her on the Falcon talking to Rey, and that's the last thing. That's like literally the last scene in the movie, or not the last scene, but kind of like one of the last scenes in the movie. So I don't know what they're gonna do with Leia, man. I'm surprised they didn't kill her off, man. So yeah, I'm just getting the negatives out of the way, by the way. So yeah, it's just everything, just that one Leia scene just really extremely bugged me. Next thing, we got the whole side plot with Finn and Rose going to Canto Bight. So Canto Bight is like this planet with like a casino, and basically all the rich go there. And basically this whole side plot with Finn and Rose is okay. I don't mind the side plot with Finn and Rose. I don't mind Rose. I know some people dislike Rose. I honestly don't. I thought she was an okay character. I didn't love her, but I didn't hate her. I thought she was just kind of there. I didn't mind her. I didn't mind her. But what bugged me about the Canto Bight scene was the casino. Just the whole casino thing just didn't feel enough Star Wars enough to me. It literally looked like something from like The Fifth Element or something. Which is just like, it just felt weird. It felt awkward. It felt weird. I mean, that's like my first thoughts of watching the movie for the first time. And then the other times I watched it, it wasn't as bad for me. But the whole Canto Bight sequence, what they should have done is, because then they go outside and we find out that Rose grew up on this planet. And there's, I don't know what these animals were called. There was some kind of like horse animals that they're like abusing. They kind of had like a message in there about like animal abuse and shit, which was just, they didn't have to have that in there. But anyways, they set up this thing where like these kids are slaves and they kind of like take care for the animals and whatnot. Which I'll get to those kids later on, because that's like literally the last shot of the movie is of these kids. Or of one of the kids. But anyways, I felt like if they cut out that whole animal section of the movie, it would have been better. I mean, the casino thing kind of sucked, but I kind of got used to it after a while. Because when I started thinking about it, like if we go back to like Attack of the Clones, we had the whole downtown. Was it Coruscant? I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Attack of the Clones. But I mean, we had the whole downtown district and all that, which does feel more something on Earth. But I mean, but still kind of had that Star Wars flair to it. This just seemed like a normal ass casino with like some CGI creatures, well, a lot of practical effects. So there were a lot of practical effects, but mixed with a lot of CG, and it just didn't flow well. It really slows down the movie a lot, and I understand Finn and Rose have to be there so they can meet Benicio del Toro's character, which I do like. Some people dislike that character. I thought he was a very interesting character. I think his name was DJ. DJ was a very interesting character, and I mean, I'll talk about that in a little bit. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I'm just trying to get the things that I didn't like out of the way so we can go in, you know, talking about every single thing about this film. But it really, if they just cut down the whole animal thing at Canto Bight, the scene wouldn't be as bad. But really, though, the whole, I call them horses. I don't know what they are, and I really don't care to, because I really dislike them. I thought they were retarded. They just, yeah, if they just cut out that part, the Canto Bight sequence wouldn't be as bad. Another thing that, after watching the movie multiple times, that I disliked was the whole what's her name? Something Haldo. Laura Dern's character, the chick with the purple hair. Vice Admiral Holdo, that's her name. There we go. I know it was like Holdo something, I don't know. I didn't really like this character. I understand why she was there. But I just didn't really like her character personally. So throughout the movie, with the beginning shot of the movie, we have Poe in his X-Wing, and he's like destroying the dreadnought or whatever. And, it turns out to be successful. He does destroy the dreadnought. But when he gets back, Leia, has a strict talking with him. It's just like, basically if he didn't do that, a lot of people would have survived. But for him doing that, he basically killed a lot of people. So, Leia, General Leia, I should say. General Leia is, not impressed by that. She is very mad that a lot of people lost their lives over that. And so after everything with Leia, she goes back, when she basically Superman's back to the ship. She's like unconscious, whatever. And so Vice Admiral Haldo steps in to take charge. So throughout her her taking charge, she doesn't really say her plan to Poe or anything. Because Poe's wondering, because at this time we find out that the First Order could track them through light speed. So basically, there's a big, huge chase, not a big chase. It's literally the longest chase in history. Basically, the First Order is chasing down the Resistance because basically they're chasing them till they run out of gas, pretty much. Which I knew that bugged a lot of people, but personally that didn't really bug me a ton. I didn't dislike it. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't really love it. I'm just kind of in between, like, okay, whatever. But Haldo was, this whole time, had a plan that they weren't tracking for, what's it called? They weren't tracking for escape pods. They're only tracking the big ship because they know they're going to run out of gas soon. So she's basically setting up to where they can escape in these pods and they can go to the new planet called Crate, which is an old rebel base, where an old rebel base used to be. But she doesn't tell Poe what her plan is. And so for her not telling Poe what her plan is, so Poe's just like, we gotta do something because we're basically toast. We're gonna run out of gas. They could track us through life speed. We're dead. So for her not telling Poe, this is how it sets up the side plot with Finn and Rose. So basically, if Haldo just told Poe, we would have got the whole side plot with Finn and Rose. So that is one crazy thing to think about. And it's just like, I'm not really too sure if that's good writing or not. Because it's like, all she had to say, or all she had to do was just open her mouth about her plan, and the whole side plot of Finn and Rose would not exist. Which is really funny to think about, actually. Because it's just like, wow. Okay. But anyways. So I don't really like Haldo. So yeah, I talked about the Leia scene, Canto Bight, comedy, Haldo. Okay, so those are really the things that I dislike. There's 4 things I really dislike about The Last Jedi. And that's Haldo, Canto Bight sequence, the comedy, and then the Leia scene. Whew. Okay. Okay. So moving on. Oh man, it's gonna be. How do I start this one? So Luke and Rey. Mark Hamill gives a very good performance here. He gives a very good performance. I enjoy his performance a lot. I know a lot of people complain about his performance, saying that this isn't the Luke Skywalker we know. And here's the thing that I get really irritated with when people say that this movie ruined Star Wars for them and everything. Pretty much why people say that is because the movie didn't go the way they thought. Let's be honest here. That's pretty much the biggest argument that I see online, because people say that isn't how Luke Skywalker is. This isn't how this should have went, blah, blah, blah. But it's good because it all completely, they did things that we never thought they would have done. Icy Gamer, you watch the new movie? What's up, Icy Gamer? Welcome to the stream. Yes, I've seen it 4 times. I saw it on opening night. I saw it I saw it once on opening day, and then I saw it twice the day after. So I've seen it 4 times. And if you haven't seen the movie, I'm going into detail with the movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled, whatever, I'm going detailed into the movie right now. That's just your warning. I mean, I know it says spoilers, but just to clear it up. Okay, so a lot of people complain about, you like Star Wars, not to mention these actors are getting old, and now the generation of cast members, a lot of fans are extremely skeptical compared to the older installments. Yeah. By the way, Icy Gamer, just to give you a little bit of background, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, man. Like, if I was a part of a fandom, I mean, I consider myself a fan, but I mean, like, if I was like, I consider myself a huge Star Wars fan. I've loved Star Wars since I was 7 years old. Dude, the blanket I have around me is a literal Han Solo and carbonite blanket. Like, I love Star Wars, man. I've always been a huge fan. I love Star Wars. To me, Star Wars isn't that interesting, but I haven't watched the whole movie. Out of the original trilogy, which was the one that you've watched? But anyways, getting off topic. So a lot of people say that Luke in this movie isn't how Luke should be. And I really, really disagree with that. I'm not going to lie. The first time I watched it, I thought his performance, or not really his performance, but just how Luke acted in the movie was kind of weird because we've never seen him like this before. But the more that I start thinking about it, though, he's been on this island for 10 years. I've done the math kind of roughly in my head because the time that he took Ben and trained him and all that, and to the time that he got onto the island and how long he's been on the island since, like, everything, I figured out it's been about 10 years. That is not confirmed, but that's the way that I kind of think. I think it's been about 10 years that he's been on this island. And I mean, we've seen Yoda. I mean, Yoda was on Dagobah for how many years, and he went crazy because he secluded himself on a swamp. I mean, who wouldn't go crazy? So, a lot of people didn't really like the kind of crazier Luke. I think it makes sense, honestly, because if you're on this island by yourself, and by the way, he cut himself. He actually states in the movie that he cut himself off from the Force. So he's just kind of a crazy old man at this time, And I hate that argument. I really do. People are just basically thought Luke would just be this badass and, but in reality, that's not how he would have been. But anyways, so when we cut to Luke and Rey, it continues from the last shot of Force Awakens of Rey giving the lightsaber to Luke. Luke grabs the lightsaber, and you know what he does? He throws it over his shoulder. He doesn't give a fuck about this lightsaber. He has it in his hand. He looks up at her. And he just chucks it back. People hate this scene. But to me, and I'm not going to lie, the first viewing that I saw this, I didn't know what to think. Because, you know, JJ led us to believe that it was going to be this epic return, you know, when we get in The Last Jedi with Rey giving them the lightsaber. But then, to me, it's kind of funny because it's almost like Rian Johnson just giving the middle finger to JJ, being like, no, fuck you. I'm going to do something completely different. And, man, I love him for doing it, though. Because he took a risk with this movie, man. He took a fucking risk. He did a lot of new things that we've never seen in a Star Wars movie before, and that's why I love this movie for it, honestly. But anyways, going back. He chucks over his shoulder, and a lot of people are pissed off about this scene, because they're like, Luke wouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. But think of it this way, though. Think of it this way, guys. So to us, that lightsaber has been through so many movies, you know. We have a nostalgia for this blue lightsaber, alright, that Luke had, alright? First of all, Luke cut himself off from the Force, so he doesn't want anything to do with the Force. And two, how many years has it been since he lost that lightsaber? He lost that back in Empire Strikes Back when Vader cut off his fucking arm, first of all. And then he creates a new badass lightsaber, his green lightsaber in Return of the Jedi. There was a deleted scene where it showed him making it, but that got took out of the movie. But think of it this way. He's cut himself off from the Force for so long. And to him, it was just a weapon. Think of it that way. And it was something that he lost years ago. Imagine, I don't know. Imagine like, I don't know. This is just a thing, like just an example. So imagine if I lost this Sharpie, alright? Imagine I wrote a good story with this Sharpie on a piece of paper. Day after I lose this Sharpie, alright? 20 years later, you come back to me and you're like, hey, you know that good story that you wrote on that piece of paper with that Sharpie? I found that Sharpie. Alright? Imagine 20 years later, someone doing that to you. I'd be like, I don't care about this. Whatever. That's how Luke feels about the lightsaber, because to him, it's just a weapon. I mean, yes, it was his father's, but at the same time, though, in his mind, he thought he lost that, and he's cut himself off from the Force, so, of course, he doesn't give a fuck about this lightsaber. So, like, I don't know why people are hung up about that scene, because to me, it makes sense, man. Like, honestly, man. And, like, the funny thing is, too, when I explain that scene to someone that hates it, when I tell them that, they have a completely new outlook on it. Because in their heads, they think Luke Skywalker should be a certain way. But since he's not, then people don't know what to think. And, man, I've probably ranted about this scene about Luke for a while. But I just really want to get that out of the way, man. I don't know why people hate that so much. I thought it was a surprising scene, and it makes sense. Honestly, the more you think about it, it makes sense. So, anyways, getting into Rey and Luke's relationship, you know, he doesn't want to teach her. He's cut himself off from the Force, but, you know, she really wants to learn. And there's this cool scene, too, where she's knocking on the door, and he's like, go away, and then, like, the door breaks off and flies across the little hut that he's in, and Chewbacca steps in, you know, he's like, Chewbacca, why are you here? And then, you know, he thinks, you know, he's like, Chewbacca, he's like, you know, like, where's Han? And that scene was really cool. I mean, we don't see them talk about Han. I mean, it cuts to another scene. But the way that they did it, though, is pretty cool, because he's like, you know, like, where's Han? And it kind of, like, goes closer to his face. And it cuts to Kylo Ren, which is the first time we see Kylo Ren in the film. And he's in an elevator going up to Snoke. And the cool thing about this movie, though, is because since Kylo Ren is the villain in this trilogy, per se, they make you actually kind of feel bad for him, honestly. I mean, when he goes and talks with Snoke, I mean, Snoke is an asshole to him, man. Like, he's literally just talking shit to him basically the whole time. And like he's saying stuff that like he actually like calls him like a child. He's like he says something like, or are you just a child in a mask? And then like what then it cuts to that scene with him in the trailer of him looking at his helmet, and he just smashes the helmet because he's pissed off. But like I thought they done that, the whole thing with Snoke was really cool, man. They just him just basically Snoke's a fucking asshole, man. And so by the way, going back, I'm just trying to think of the movie kind of, because we're still kind of in the beginning of the movie here. So the Porgs. Everyone's been going on about the Porgs, dude. Porgs are awesome, man. Porgs are great. I would love to see more of Porgs, man. They don't do anything in the movie, honestly. They're kind of more comedy relief, but man, Porgs are great, man. There's a scene where Chewie's outside the Falcon. He just cooked up a Porg. He's about to eat it, and then like all the Porgs are staring at him, all like scared, and then he like roars, and they all fly away, and there's like still one standing there, and he's like, they have like a close up of his face, and he's like all like sad because he's like eating one of their like friends or family members, whatever, and I don't know, that was a funny little scene, and like they start making like a nest in the Falcon when they like start like living in the Falcon. I thought that was cute, but right around this time, there's something weird that happens in the film. Rey and Kylo Ren could talk to each other even though they're not by each other at all. And this has some controversy around it. Some people love it, some people hate it. Some people think that this trashes the whole idea of the Force from the original movies, but dude, I like it, man. I dig it. I mean, it's something new that we haven't really seen before. Something really cool, man. I mean, like I said, my friend called it Force Skype, But yeah, so anyways, Rey and Kylo are kind of talking with each other, and they're going back and forth, but it's like they could see each other, but they can't see really like what's around them. So there's a very interesting scene where like Rey gets out her blaster and she fires it, and it like gets him in a sense. I mean, not like it penetrates him, but you can feel it though, because where she's seeing him, that's where she's shot. It's kind of like through the Force. It's kind of hard to explain, but yes. So this I really liked about the movie, man. I liked the whole thing between Rey and Kylo. Thought that was done pretty well, honestly. I enjoyed that a lot. And hold on, my phone, because I'm live streaming this to my phone's dying, and I'm going to get my charger really fast. Be right back. Oh shit, charger's right here. Alright, so let me plug this in so I can charge my phone while I'm recording this. Wow. There we go. Alright, so this is charging. So yes, I really like the whole thing between Rey and Kylo, man. It's pretty cool. So what do I want to talk about now? Okay, so we'll go back to the Finn and Rose side plot here. So basically, when we see Finn, he's in his what you call it, kind of like thing. He's on a a bed, because the last time we saw him, he got knocked out by Kylo. He got him in the back with the saber. But anyways, he wakes up. And the first thing he says is Rey. Where's Rey? And he talks to Poe and everything. But anyways, he finds out that they can track them through, that the First Order can track them through light speed. and he doesn't want Rey to come back because he's thinking, you know, we're gonna run out of fuel. They're going to basically kill us. So the first thing he wants to do is find Rey so she doesn't come back. And so he tries to get into the escape pod, and then that's how we meet the character of Rose. And she's crying because in the beginning of the movie, her sister dies. I think her name was like Paige. I think her sister's name was Paige. I think they reference it like once for like a quick second. But they do reference her. I think her name is Paige, I want to say. But anyways, during the whole Dreadnought fight, she's the person that drops the bombs and then the ship explodes. So anyways, she hasn't, but through that whole scene, like, Paige is like grabbing onto this necklace that she has, and then when we get to the part with Rose, then we see her, you know, crying, and she has that necklace, so that was her sister. And so you know, at this point, Finn's trying to escape an escape pod so he can get to Rey. But then she starts talking. She's like, you know, I can't believe like everything that you did, that you worked for the First Order, and that you know, you're a war hero, you know. And you could tell that she really looks up to Finn. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, you know, like, everyone's been trying to escape. And, I've had to get people with this taser. Or I got, like, 3 people with this taser, and it was going on. And she's like, oh, really? And she's like, you weren't trying to escape, were you? Because he loaded a bag, you know, with, like, stuff, you know, trying to escape. And she's like, no, you were. He's like, oh, no, I wasn't. And then she tases him, and then he wakes up to her, like, bringing him like out of the little pod room and all that, and then eventually, you know, he says that, you know, they can track us through light speed, we're running out of fuel, blah blah blah. And so and then they go to Poe, and then that's how they set up the whole Canto Bight sequence. So yeah, there's that. And then I kind of feel like I'm getting a little lost here. I just have so much stuff I want to talk about. So a lot of people go on of the fact that Rey is a Mary Sue. I mean, they said that with Force Awakens, and I've always kind of tried to defend Rey. So I always felt like there was more to it. And in this movie, I mean, we do see her train a little bit. We don't see her train for a lot, and this made a lot of people mad because they're like, you know, if Luke, Luke only got 3 movies of like training basically. But here's how I look at it though. The Force was calling to Rey. So the Force was calling to Rey, all right? Did the Force really ever call to Luke? I don't really think so. I mean, Obi-Wan was really the one that told him about it, and it was kind of from that point on, and that was when he started training. It kind of spoke to Rey, kind of like how it did with Anakin. Anakin didn't come from nowhere. Who? Okay, good question. This kind of leads into another topic of the movie, okay? So a big thing that people were wanting to know, and they were speculating about it, was who's Rey's parents. We find out in this movie that her parents are nobody. Her parents sold her for drinking money, which I love. I like how she isn't a Skywalker or anything, at least to our knowledge right now. And I don't think that they're going to go back on this. I really don't think they will. And the reason why I like this is because it's so obvious that she would be a Skywalker or a Kenobi or whatever. And I like how it's saying that, like, you know, anyone can be a Jedi, you know. But here's the thing, too. In the prequels, Anakin was no one either. I mean, we didn't know really where Anakin came from. Like, and I kind of feel like, and this kind of goes back to, I guess, midichlorians, I guess. But, like, it kind of spoke to Anakin, too. So, like, I don't get how people are so mad that, like, Rey doesn't really need much training. I mean, even in Force Awakens, she takes on like 4 dudes with the staff. I mean, she's not a terrible fighter, first of all. And also, the Force is speaking to her. And I guess to some people, that's not enough explanation. But, I mean, it's a Star Wars movie, man. I feel like it's enough there to really, you know, have that. I mean, I don't know. So, I wish we'd gotten a little bit more of Rey training. I do agree with that statement. I do wish we did see more of that. But anyways, there's a thing that happens in this film when we find out we kind of get 2 sides of a story of something, which is a very cool perspective in this movie that I feel like we haven't really seen in a Star Wars movie before, and I think it was done pretty well. So we get Luke's side of the story, you know, that he saw darkness in Kylo, and he tried to confront him about it. And his way of him telling the story is that he just tried to confront him on it, and, you know, he just kind of went off on him. He killed some of the God, the name just slipped my mind. You know, he took half the people that were training, and then he killed the rest that Luke was training. And so it was really cool seeing Luke's perspective, but also seeing Kylo Ren's perspective of the story too. Because in Kylo's eyes, he thought Luke was just going crazy and was going to kill him. And so that's why he did what he did. And then it goes back to Luke later on, after Rey finds out from Kylo kind of his side of the story. She's like, is it true that you tried to kill him? And he said for a second he did. You know, he was going to, I mean, you can look at it kind of more of like, he was just going to kill him. He was going to basically just kill his nephew. But, you know, he does explain, you know, it's more like, you know, he was going to basically take everything that he loved, and for a second, that was what he was going to do, but then he regretted it as soon as he turned on the lightsaber, and as soon as he regretted it, that's when Kylo turns around, sees him, and then, you know, attacks him. So I thought that was done really well, you know, seeing 2 sides of a story, you know, seeing how these 2 characters do the things that they do. I mean, it was a cool perspective for a Star Wars movie, which I feel like we haven't really seen that before. So I really like the whole flashback scene with Luke and Kylo. Like that was done really well. So this whole time between Rey and Kylo kind of talking through the Force and all that, she gets, you know, she's like, I see, you know, like kind of like there's like some good in him. I forgot like the actual line that she says. I know I've seen this movie like 4 times, and I can't think of every single dialogue that they say in this film. But she says something that like, I still see good in him and whatever. So she's gonna go back. She's gonna basically meet up with Kylo and whatever. And this is when we get to probably one of the best moments in Star Wars history, man. You can disagree with me all you want. No, this is one of the best moments in Star Wars, man. So she flies onto Snoke's ship. Let me look it up. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was like the... I'm trying to think. It wasn't the Dreadnought. I can't think of what Snoke's ship was. It's a big ass ship though. That's for damn sure. Big ass ship. I can't think of what Snoke's ship is. What the name of Snoke's ship was. But anyways, or actually before I get on with that, there's actually a scene right when Rey leaves. Luke's gonna burn down the tree. You know, the tree that has the old ancient Jedi text. And that's when we see Yoda's Force ghost there. Yoda makes an appearance in this movie. Dude, like, as soon as I saw Yoda, like, I had a smile on my face, like, instantly, man. I think they did a really good job with the scene, and like and there was a couple reviews that I saw on Rotten Tomatoes, and this could be trolling too, I don't know, but they're saying that that like that isn't how Yoda is. That's, you know, like going on that like, no, that's not how Yoda acts, and I'm like, that really? That's not how Yoda is? I mean, have you seen Empire and Return of the Jedi? Dude's crazy. I mean, I felt like they did him really well. He was a puppet, so thank God for that. I love how like the line. I mean, it's kind of a cheesy line, but I thought it was kind of funny though, how he's like talking to Luke, and then he's like, because basically Luke was going to try to burn down the tree, but then Yoda sends down like this lightning bolt, and then it catches on fire, and you know, he's like going on about the Jedi text, you know, and then Yoda says something like something about, he says something about the Jedi text, and he's like, page turners, they are not. It was just, I thought that was funny. I thought that was funny. But one thing that was kind of weird though was like, as he's talking to Luke, he like hits Luke in the head with his cane, which I thought was kind of weird, because I'm like, isn't he a Force ghost? Shouldn't he not be able to like, I don't know, make contact with people because he's a ghost? I don't know. That was one thought that I thought of that I thought was kind of weird. But other than that, great scene. Good to see Yoda back, especially as in puppet form. Thank God for that. But anyways, okay, getting back to the whole Rey going on the Snoke's, I think it was Snoke's ship. Yeah, it was Snoke's ship. So she can meet up with Kylo and all that. But going back, man, one of the best scenes in Star Wars history, in my opinion. So they go up, they're talking to Snoke, you know, and one of the best moments, man, happens. And I know a lot of people hate this scene, man. A lot of people hate this scene. But I thought it was amazing. So Snoke's going on to Rey about Kylo and everything, and then like he shows her, he's like, look, like he like, it almost kind of reminiscent of like A New Hope too, in a sense, because kind of the scene when Vader's like showing that like Leia that they're destroying like her own planet Alderaan. He shows Rey kind of like that they're destroying like the fleet and all that, and I think at this time, I think Rey's thinking that Finn's on the ship. I may be wrong about that. But anyways, this is a big thing, and they're like going on. But anyways, she like uses the Force, and she tries to grab, because he takes her lightsaber, the blue lightsaber, he puts it like on the throne next to him, like on the little hand rest thing. And then he starts talking to her. She uses the Force to try to pick it up so she can like attack him, but it like kind of like zooms around and then like hits her in the head and then goes back. And then after a while of them just, you know, talking about shit, she gets Kylo's saber and tries to attack him. And he like, I think he like Force pushes her or something, and then like he lowers her to Kylo, and I love this scene, just the way it's played out too. Because he gets his lightsaber, he's like, he wants Kylo to kill Rey, and you know, he has the lightsaber, he's like pointing at her, and you know, Snoke's going on, you know, like, I can read his every thought, you know, he's turning on that lightsaber, or like he's moving that lightsaber towards you. But as he's doing this, we're seeing shots of Kylo's hand, you know, kind of like, you know, like kind of moving and stuff. And you know, he's going on like, I can see his every thought, he's gonna kill you, and like all this stuff. And you see and we kind of start seeing Luke's saber kind of turn towards Snoke, and you know, he moves his hand, a lightsaber goes off, man, completely Darth Maul's Snoke, man, kills Snoke instantly, man. Dude, I know a lot of people hate that scene because they're like, we don't know who Snoke is. Personally, I love that we don't know who really Snoke is. I kind of leaves that mystery there of who is Snoke, you know? Uh, I thought that scene was amazing, and like the lightsaber like goes off, it goes through like his torso, and then like it basically just like goes forward. Like the shot that the shot that they used was amazing. So like it like kind of goes back, and you see the lightsaber just zoom go forward, and it's just his whole torso just falls over, and then Rey grabs the lightsaber, dude, and then we get one of the best fucking scenes, man. Her and Kylo are like fighting together, man. They're like tearing up all the guards, dude. One of the best fight scenes in Star Wars history, man. I personally, it gave me chills, and it still gave me chill on my, even on my fourth viewing of the movie, man. I got chills, man. Good, very good scene. But a lot of people hate it because they're just like, we never knew who Snoke was. Dude, Snoke was one of the least, probably my least favorite character in Force Awakens, man. It was just honestly a ripoff, almost. I mean, at the time of like Force Awakens stuff, it was just almost a ripoff of the Emperor. I'm glad that they killed him off, dude. I don't care about Snoke. I really don't. And I mean, it would have been nice to find out a little bit more about him. But dude, good for them, man. Kill him off, man. I don't care, man. That scene was perfect. And, oh, dude, like, when that scene happened, like, everyone, you know, stands up, is clapping, because no one was expecting that. You know, we're expecting to learn more about Snoke, and then, you know, he would probably be back in 9. No. Kill his ass. Right off, man. Good scene, man. I don't know why people are hating that. I really don't get that. To me, I don't care. Snoke sucked anyway. He didn't do anything. Yes, he was really powerful, and people will go on to the theory of how could he not sense it, but to him, he was thinking about Kylo's mind, and he's seeing Kylo move his lightsaber like he was going to kill Rey. So to me, I don't know, that makes sense to me. So after that, Rey's like, you know, we could still like save the fleet and all that, and he's like, you know, let's just let the past die, you know, Snoke, the Resistance, First Order, everything. Let's just let it die. And he wants Rey to join him. And you know, she doesn't want to. She doesn't go for it. So anyways, I think at this, yeah, because she throws him her lightsaber in the middle of the fight, which is a very cool scene, by the way. Because there's one guard that's like choking out Kylo, and she's like, Ben. She throws her lightsaber at him. He grabs it and he just presses it and just zoom and like gets the dude in the head, dude. Freaking cool scene right there. But anyway, so he has her lightsaber, and she's like, you know, we can save the fleet. She's like, you know, let's just forget about everything. Join me. We can kind of like start our own thing. Blah blah blah. And you know, of course, she doesn't want to do that, so she uses the Force to grab her lightsaber that he has. And so it's kind of like this like weird scene where like the lightsaber's like in the middle of them, and they're both like that, and then basically the lightsaber breaks, and they just both go flying and get knocked out. So yeah, so then at this point, I think it cuts back to Leia and everyone. Okay, so going back a little bit. So, oh, fuck. There's actually a little bit that I missed. So when Finn and Rose are on Canto Bight, they actually call up Maz Kanata, which I didn't really like that scene, to be honest. I feel like that scene was just all for laughs, because it's like they're talking to Maz, and she's like going on about, you need to go to Canto Bight, find this dude in the casino, blah, blah, blah. This hacker dude. And so, which I didn't like. Because to me, it didn't really make sense. Because I'm like, why would Finn call Maz when he only met her once, and he barely spoke to her? So that was one thing I didn't really like about the film. But anyways, going on, just kind of more nitpicking there. But going on, him and Rose, go to Canto Bight to look for this hacker dude, and then like they finally find him, but then they like get tased and they get thrown in jail. But in jail, in their cell, we find Benicio del Toro's character, DJ. He's kind of like this creepy, kind of mysterious dude. He kind of has like a stutter, which is kind of funny. I thought was kind of a nice touch to his character. I wish we saw more DJ though. He was a really interesting character. I would love to see more of him. But anyways, he has like a little card thing and he like uses it. It opens up the cell and they escape and all that, and they break out the fucking horse things like I mentioned earlier. But anyways, what I was getting to was then they team up with DJ to go to whatever the ship's called, the First Order ship, whatever Snoke's ship is. I can't think of the damn name. But anyways, at this time, this is when Leia or Poe and them are trying to escape in the pods. Or no, before that, Holdo's. They almost kind of make it out that Holdo is like bad. That like she turns on them or something, and then like they lock themselves in a room. Poe and like a couple other characters, like C-3PO was there, and they then like the door like breaks open, and it's Leia, and she like shoots Poe, so it almost kind of sets it up as like Leia turned bad or something. She shoots Poe. Poe's knocked out, and then like the next scene that we see is them boarding the escape pod, and Leia's just like, oh, like I like that kid or something like that. I don't know. She says something like that. And so Leia isn't bad, and then like Holdo stays at the ship while they escape. So basically, I still, that's one thing I don't really get. I don't know why she just shot Poe. I mean, all of this could have been solved if Holdo just told Poe her plan of escaping. But anyways, they get into escape pod, and Poe's freaking out because it's just like, no, they're gonna see us, and then that's when Leia explains the plan that they had all along to Poe, saying that they're not searching for the escape pods, they're only looking for the main ship they're on. I don't know, it's kind of stupid, but whatever, I can forgive it. So as they're going, because Finn and Rose had to go on to the ship. I believe it was like they had to like hack something or whatever. But anyways, they told DJ, Benicio del Toro's character, the plan on what they were doing. But anyways, he turns on them. He tells the First Order what the plan is, that they're in these escape pods going to Crate, to the old, rebel outpost. And so he tells them, and it's like, oh, thanks for telling us. Like, we scanned, and yeah, we found the escape pods. So they start firing on the escape pods. And so as this is happening, Holdo is like what's, just full throttle to Crate. She gets in, gets in the seat of the whatever the ship's called that they were in, and we do get a very cool moment, man. This is one moment that I've always kind of wondered what would happen, and we actually got it in this movie. As they're firing at the escape pods, she light speeds into the ship, man. Just boom, cuts through the freaking ship, man. And it's a cool scene because like like when she goes through it, like there's no music playing or anything. It's just quiet. It's just boom. And you're just left with just like, damn, that ship is torn up, man. So at the time that she does this, Finn and Rose are still on the ship. And by the way, we see Phasma. Which, okay, I see what they were trying to do with Phasma in this movie. Phasma is one of the shittiest characters in this trilogy, honestly. they tried to make Phasma like a Boba Fett type character, but less cool somehow. So, anyways, as the ship is, getting all torn up because Holdo flew her ship into their ship, everything's on fire and all that, and of course Finn and Rose are still alive, and then like for some reason Phasma and like tons of stormtroopers like come out from like the other fucking side of the ship. I don't know why she was just with Finn when that happened, but whatever. She walks out of the other side of the ship, and so we get that fight between Finn and Phasma. So they're fighting, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, she knocks Finn into, like, a hole or something. So he falls. So we think, oh, he's fell. He's not coming back. But, of course, he's coming back. And I think Rose starts to shoot at her or something. Which the crazy thing is Rose shoots at Phasma. And, like, her chrome plating, it just bounces off of her. It doesn't even, like, hit. It doesn't affect her. So, there's that. Only if they could give every damn stormtrooper that. I mean, they would probably have more of an army, but whatever. But anyways, so she pushes Finn into this hole. Then I think Rose starts shooting at her. So she turns around, starts shooting at Rose, and then the hole that Finn fell into, it starts going up. And then, like, I think he says some cheesy thing there, and then he hits her. He hits her, like, up like this, and she falls back, and then she says, like, something like, "You're scum," or something like that, and he's like, "I'm rebel scum," or something like that. It was kind of a cheesy moment. But anyways, she, like, kind of, like, looks up at him, and, like, half of her mask is, like, torn off. They actually, like, get to see her eye, which was kind of cool. Like, okay, so she is a human. Not like any type of like weird creature under that suit. And then like the floor caves in and she falls into a fiery abyss. And that's the last we see of Phasma. Some people think that they're going to bring Phasma back. I don't think so. She fell into a thing of fire. Like, if they bring her back, that is the stupidest thing too. And the funny thing is too, like Kathleen Kennedy, all of them were going on that like, oh, Phasma's going to have more of a part in this movie. No, she didn't. She didn't do anything in this movie, man. She literally fought Finn for like a minute and then just got her ass handed to her. Like, dude, she's supposed to be like this cool, like powerful character. She like is only like 3 minutes in the movie and she dies. I mean, you could say that about Boba Fett. But Boba Fett had more of like a mysterious thing about him, though. Like, there was nothing mysterious about Phasma. There was nothing cool about Phasma. She looked kind of cool, but I honestly didn't even like Phasma in Force Awakens. So I'm glad they killed her off, too. Because, like, she was like another weak part about Force Awakens, man. So, they kill her. BB-8 controls an AT-ST. Yeah, that happens in this movie, which something that happens that, like, if you told me that happened before I saw the movie, I'd probably be like, that sounds retarded, but something that I kind of wanted, honestly. It was something that I wanted that I didn't know that I wanted. I didn't know I wanted to see BB-8 control an AT-ST. So anyways, they hop on the AT-ST, they escape, they get into a ship, and they escape. Then it cuts to, so now we're like, this is like, the last like 20 to 15 minutes of the movie right now. So we go to Crate, the new planet Crate, which we've first time seeing this planet in a Star Wars movie. So Leia and them are there at the Rebel base, and I believe they know that they're basically coming, basically the First Order. The one cool thing I actually really like Crate. The whole thing on Crate is honestly really, really cool. Like, so like it almost looks like snow or something, and then like if you walk, it leaves footprints and they're like red. So like it's kind of cool. It's actually really, really cool. I actually really like how they did that. They actually have like these little like not speeders, but like little ships thing that like come out. They're all like old and messed up, but they have like these little things on the bottom that like come out and they like skin across the ground, and like red smoke pops up. It's pretty cool. I mean, you've probably seen it in the trailer and then the movie poster, but something really cool, man. I actually really thought that looks really cool. But anyways, Leia, Poe is there, and then Finn and Rose crash land inside the base, and they're like firing because they think it's like First Order, and then they're like, stop shooting, it's Finn and Rose. And we actually get the scene when he's like, when Poe's like, you're not dead, and he's like, where's my droid? And then BB-8 comes out, and there's like a moment where he like steps down, he's like, oh, I love this droid, or something like that, dude. That scene, I actually really like that scene. I don't know, it's just funny like how you actually feel something for Poe and BB-8, even though it's just a man and a robot, you still feel something for that, which is really cool. But anyways, it cuts, we got these AT-AT looking things. They're probably called something different, but my ass, yeah, I'll probably get like hate for not knowing the name of these walkers. I wonder if they would have it in the Wikipedia page. I actually kind of want to know myself. If anyone that's watching right now knows the name of the walkers, let me know. But for now, I'm going to try to look up the walkers' names. I don't know, not important. But anyways, basically like an AT-AT walker, but they have like shielding on the legs and stuff. And a lot of people are like, you stole that from Empire. Really, that's really the only thing I could see that they stole from Empire. And kind of Rey going off on her own thing, and then Finn and Rose doing their own thing. I mean, that felt like a lot like Empire, because, I mean, if you've seen Empire lately and remember how that movie is, I mean, Luke kind of goes on his own adventure while Han and Leia kind of do their own adventure. So that kind of reminded me of Empire a little bit. But I don't know, this didn't really feel like the Hoth battle at all. It was totally different, and I know some people just like to nitpick, honestly. I thought it was awesome. So anyways, they have like this like this cannon thing. It was like they call it like a battery ram cannon or something like that. So that's gonna go through the door of the base. So basically they're getting these old like rinky dink speeder things that like go out, and they're like trying to like destroy it and whatnot. So we get, actually there was actually a cool cameo from Gareth Edwards from Rogue One. He's one of the soldiers in the trench, and he made a little cameo there, which was pretty funny. But anyways, they're like shooting and whatnot. But anyways, they start up the cannon, and it's gonna shoot through. So they're like, back up, we gotta go back. So, Poe and everyone goes back. And we have this really powerful scene, man. I have mixed feelings on it. I don't really hate it, but I also don't really like it. There's a scene where we think Poe is going to sacrifice himself for the resistance back on the base. Like, he's going to go just straight through the cannon before it, fires, so he can destroy it. And we get this really powerful scene, man. Like, honestly, it was really powerful. Like, I was like, damn, they're gonna kill off Finn. And as he gets close, Rose comes out of nowhere and hits him, and then the thing fires, or they crash. He gets out, he runs over to Rose, and he's like, why did you do that? And she says something along the lines of, like, it's not what, something like, not fighting for what you believe in, or some bull crap like that. She's like, it's about saving the ones that you love. And then as soon as she says that, it kind of like cuts back to them, kind of like Finn just kind of looking at her, and then the cannon goes off, and then like she kisses him, and it's just a really awkward like kiss and stuff, and he's just kind of just like, what the fuck, because like in his mind we all know he's thinking of Rey. So they do a hole, and then yeah, and so they put a hole into the base that they're in, and then So yeah, then it cuts back to Leia talking about, you know, um, they're going back and forth, and then like, dude, I think like she said something like we're doomed or something. I don't remember. I don't remember what she says right there. And we start seeing Luke walk down. In my opinion, this is a really cool scene. A lot of people, I feel like, are mixed on this scene, but dude, it's pretty awesome. So anyways, Luke comes in. We get a nice little scene with Luke and Leia, and she's like, I know what you're going to say, you know, like I changed my hair or something like that. Something total Carrie Fisher would say, which was really, really nice touch of the movie, man. And he's like, but it's good that way. And he goes on, and he's like, he kind of talks to you, like, I'm going to stop Ben. And she's like, like going on. She's like, I kind of, Leia's kind of talking about how she kind of came to terms with that Ben's never going to change. He's seduced to the dark side and whatever. Snoke changed him and blah, blah, blah. So we get a really cool shot of Luke walking out towards the walkers and Kylo. And, or actually before that, before he walks out, it was actually kind of cool because we see C-3PO see Luke for the first time in years. He's like, Master Luke. And he just kind of winks at him and then walks out, which I thought was really cool. And he starts walking out, and, Kylo's like, I want every gun we have to basically go off on that man. And Hux is like, sir, he's like going on, and like Kylo like force pushes him or something. Like everyone hates Hux in this movie, which is pretty funny. Like at the beginning of the movie, like Snoke like is talking to him through a hologram, and like he just uses the force. He like flings him around the room and shit. And then like Kylo like pushes him. Like it's just kind of funny. Everyone hates Hux. But anyways, he's like, I want all our guns to fire on that man and all this stuff. And so like it's a pretty intense scene because like Luke walks out, he's just standing there, and it's all of a sudden just like one walker fires one shot at him, it's just boom, and all of a sudden it's just boom, like they just all start unloading on his ass, and he's just like more, like Kylo's like getting into it, like he wants Luke dead, and then they stop. And he's just like, and then there's like one scene with Hux, and he's like, do you think you got him? It was pretty funny. And then, of course, it doesn't kill Luke, and he walks out. And we get this this is another shot that's like kind of cheesy, but at the same time, I kind of like it. Like, Luke kind of just walks out, he's just like this. Kind of like that to his shoulder is kind of funny. And then, Kylo's like, bring me down to him, and then he goes down, and they're having some dialogue against each other and all that, and then he goes to swing at him, and like Luke's kind of like, you could tell that Kylo isn't like fully trained just yet and everything, and there's one shot though is that he starts running towards Luke, and you like. There's no way that you could have missed him, and you think you kind of got him or whatever, and then Kylo turns around and Luke's fine, and then we find out that Luke is on the island projecting himself. So basically, Luke's projecting himself. He's a hologram right now, and boy, I have not seen something so divided in this community, man. There's people that like it, and there's people that fucking hate it, man. There's people that hate this scene because they're just like, that totally shits on all the past movies with the Force and all this. To me, man, it's cool, man. It makes sense. It makes sense how you can use the Force in different ways, and we've always kind of known that. I mean, but dude, it's definitely, it's different though. It's different. I think that's why a lot of Star Wars fans don't like it, because it's different, man. But anyways, he's projecting himself, and it's so cool because like he says something to Kylo like, I'm gonna be there, kind of like how your father is, and he's like going on. He's just like, see you later, son, or something like that, and then he just like goes away. And Adam Driver, man, Adam Driver, I haven't said this in this discussion video. Adam Driver gives a perfect performance in this movie, man. He plays Kylo Ren super good. Like, he's one of the highlights in this film. But just his look when he finds out that that was a hologram of Luke, and he's just like, just the look on his face is amazing. It's just the look of what the fuck slash like scared slash like pissed off, dude. He does it perfectly. He's just like, just like he's pissed off. But rewatching the movie though, I noticed this like my third time watching it. Like I said earlier on Crate, how if you walk around, you leave footprints that are like red. If you actually look closely to Luke's footprints, he doesn't leave any footprints. So that was actually a nice little touch because, you know, it's a hologram. And so, anyways, at that time that Luke steps out and confronts Kylo, you know, Finn brings Rose into the base and he's like, you know, like, we got to go help him. And Poe's like, no, he's doing this for a reason. He's like, let's try to escape. And so they find like those Crystal Fox characters, which they like had like in the trailers and stuff, and everyone was speculating on who those, what kind of role that the Crystal Fox play. They kind of like show them a way out of the base, and then at that time, because Leia has a little thing where it's like a little like, I don't know what you would call it. It's like a little like light thing, and she gave one to Rey, and so she was like, so it's kind of like a thing to like how Rey can like find her or something. So anyways, in the beginning we do see the Millennium Falcon, you know, Rey and Chewie in it, and they're like they're tearing up TIE fighters when the battle first starts. But anyways, after when Luke confronts Kylo, they're looking for Leia because her little light thing is going off that Leia gave to her. She's like, you know, I know they're around here somewhere. So anyways, they're like, I don't know, they have to be like, you know, under us. So she lands and she walks down, and it's actually like the first time we really see her like use the Force. She like moves these rocks, and then everyone comes out, and they start to board the ship. But after Luke did the hologram, he's you could tell that like he doesn't have any energy, and that he's kind of dying, because, and I believe, I don't quote me on this, but I've heard something that Luke does like we've heard before, like if you use a hologram projecting yourself, that like you like it does drain your energy, and like you can die from it. But anyways, spoiler alert, Luke dies in this. And a lot of people are complaining about the way that he dies, but to me it was really reminiscent of Obi-Wan's death and Yoda's death. He's kind of sitting there, and honestly, like the first couple times I watched it didn't really get me, but it was like probably the last time I watched it, it actually kind of got to me. He's sitting there, and you know, you can tell that like the energy, he just doesn't have any energy at all, and he's just sitting there, and he's staring at the twin suns, you know, reminiscent to A New Hope. And and you know, it's a kind of a sad moment, honestly. You know, he's staring at the sun, and then he just disappears. You know, it's just, this cape just falls, and then just flows away. And then as everyone's boarding the Millennium Falcon, you know, you could see that Leia sensed that he died, and then Rey senses it. And then it cuts to Kylo and the troopers going into the base, the rebel base that they were just in, but just escaped. And, you know, he's just... And then there's like a shot of him kind of like looking forward, and then it goes to Rey, and she's kind of just like staring, and it's kind of like they're getting connected through the Force again. And then she just closes the Falcon, and I think that kind of symbolized that like she's cutting herself off from him. And then basically they fly off. Everyone's, you know, all happy, you know, we're going to start a new resistance. Like Luke says before he died, or like when he like towards the end of the confrontation with Kylo, he does say that like today is a new rebellion is born and all that stuff. So it's almost like they're starting like a new rebellion and whatever. And then we get a cool scene though. I think it was Finn. He opens up one of the drawers in the Falcon and you see the Jedi textbooks. So Rey took the books before they destroyed the tree, which was cool. And then, yeah, I mean, it was actually another thing that was kind of cool. And they're like in the Falcon, and she's like talking to BB-8 and stuff because I mean she hasn't seen BB-8 through the whole movie. And then there's actually one really cool scene that when I started thinking about it, I was like, oh damn, that's right. Poe and Rey never met in The Force Awakens. So when they're on the Falcon, he's like, hey, I'm Poe, and she's like, oh, I'm Rey. So that was a really cool scene because I that's something that I kind of forgot. I was like, oh damn, they never spoke to each other or met each other in Force Awakens. And so anyways, it's kind of all happy, everyone's happy, they're in the Falcon, and then it kind of goes to black, and then it opens up with those kids on Canto Bight, and this little kid's talking about Luke Skywalker. He was talking about the battle with Luke Skywalker on Crate. And then this crazy dude comes in. He's like, oh, mad. Like, get back to work type of thing. And a kid walks out. He walks out of the building. And he reaches over to grab the broom. But if you look really closely, he actually uses the Force for the broom. He doesn't actually reach over and pick it up. He actually uses the Force, and the broom falls in his hand. He picks it up. So right there, it's kind of setting up that, anyone can be a Jedi type of thing. And he starts sweeping, and then it kind of ends off with him looking into the sky. And then it cuts to his hand, which has a ring that Rose gave him that has the Rebel Alliance symbol on it. It cuts to that ring, and then it cuts to him looking up, and he's kind of holding like the broom, kind of like a lightsaber. And I don't really know. The first time I saw it, I kind of took it as it was the Millennium Falcon, but he's staring up into the stars and you see a ship and it goes into light speed. I'm assuming that that's the Millennium Falcon, but I'm not really too sure. Like, I don't know why it would be over by Canto Bight, but I don't know. I kind of took it as like, it was like he was looking up at the Millennium Falcon and then it goes into light speed and then end of the movie. Whew, man, we've been talking for 87 minutes. Whew, this is a long stream. And I don't even think anyone's in here now. Or someone was in here for a while, but yeah. So yeah, that is basically the whole rundown of the film. I talked about things I didn't like. I talked about things that I liked. Overall, man, Lost Jedi is a very good film in my opinion. It's getting a lot of controversy, but I really feel like it's because it's something different, and there's a lot of things that are different, and I don't know how a lot of Star Wars fans are reacting to it. And people go on about plot holes and a lot of that. And don't get me wrong, the film does have problems with it. The pacing does feel a little weird. And I mean, just some of the comedy scenes just don't work at all. But I hope they learn by that and not have any of that type of stuff in 9. But overall, man, the things that this movie does, I think does really good. And it has me looking forward to 9, honestly. I really like Last Jedi, man. I think Rian Johnson did a pretty damn good job with trying to do something different. And because I feel like a lot of people were complaining about The Force Awakens being too similar to A New Hope, and so, he was trying to do something different, and I think it was a success. It has problems, but it is, a success in my opinion. I think it did a lot of things right, and a lot of new things that were done really well. So yeah, guys, I give The Last Jedi an 8.5. I like Last Jedi a lot. I like it more than Force Awakens. It's kind of tied for Rogue One for me, because I liked Rogue One more than Force Awakens, which is another controversial topic. But yeah, this is kind of like me talking about the movie. I may do a spoiler-free review video eventually. But like I said, I'm really busy. Christmas is really soon. The day I'm done filming this or doing this live stream, what is today? Today's the 21st, I think. Yeah, today's the 21st. So like I don't know when I'll be making the Last Jedi review video, but I really wanted to do this live stream to really give my opinions on the film and whatnot. And I know this is a very long video, and if you've somehow made it through this video and you're at this part of the video right now, thanks for sticking around and listening to me talk for like over an hour. Something that I really want to talk about. And actually, if you made it this far into the video, please put down in the comments, page turners, they're not. If you put that down in the comments, then now let me know that you made it through this whole video. But yeah, and then also there was a video that I was wanting to make explaining with the whole Star Wars, like I think it was like the 15 Days of Star Wars video. I was wanting to make, and I just didn't get around to because I got really busy. So I made the first 5 days, those videos. They were posted, scheduled to upload. And I made about 10 of them. I made 10 of the videos. I still had 5 left. Day 5 was uploaded. But after day 5, the other videos were just messed up, man. I don't know how to explain it. The way that YouTube uploaded them, they just looked crappy, and I just wasn't impressed with them. And I'm sorry that if you guys really liked those videos and that I didn't finish them, because I felt bad because I kept my word on it, or not. I didn't keep my word. I kept my word on it. I didn't keep my word on it. I told you guys that I was going to do a 15-day challenge thing, and I didn't follow through with it. And I feel really bad for it, honestly. But I did not. It got to the point, because I made those videos ahead of time, and I felt like some of them weren't as good. They didn't live up to my standard, and I really just wasn't fully impressed by them. And I just ended up not having a lot of time, so I'm incredibly sorry for that, guys. I don't know, I might delete the videos, because some of them I didn't really like, the ones that were posted, so I might delete some of those. But yeah, guys, I don't know, hopefully soon I will do a review for The Last Jedi. The reason why I want to do this live stream was just to kind of have something about The Last Jedi, so I could, have something about The Last Jedi, really relatively close to after I've seen the movie, so not, next month or anything. But thanks for everyone that stopped by the stream. Sedition and IC Gamer. And there was another person or two that joined but didn't put anything in the comments, so, they stayed for a little while, so thanks for stopping by and everything. Please leave me your thoughts of The Last Jedi down in the comments. Get a discussion going on, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll be posting another video soon or not. Might be till after Christmas. So if I don't do anything before Christmas, Merry Christmas to everyone, or Happy Holidays for those who don't celebrate Christmas, and if you don't celebrate anything at all, then, have a good day. So yeah, this has been a very long stream. I've had a lot to talk about, and I still feel like I didn't touch on everything, by the way, too. But I touched on a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about, and so yeah, I think this will end the stream. I think this will probably stay on my channel. Yeah, man. thanks for watching this video. If you got this far, thanks a lot, man. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day, and may the force be with you.